Hey, hey, Facebook. Okay, let's get YouTube going. Hey, YouTube. Okay, last but certainly not least, Instagram, maybe. Okay, I got everyone here. Hope so. Okay, first time doing all three streams from, Instagram. I need to turn you a little. From my new location. So hopefully the Wi-Fi is going to be good. I was really sad to move away from Google Fiber. So let me know if you can hear and let me know if you can see. That would be great. Hi, Kylie Lou. Nice to see you again. And as always, if you guys want or need to, just interrupt me. If you have a question or a comment, go ahead. And if I don't see it, sometimes it scrolls too fast. Hey, Amanda. Hey, Jennifer. Then just do it again. It won't bother me at all. I want to make sure that I see your comment. So is it, hey, Stace Machat? I'm sorry, I probably totally slaughtered that last name. Thanks for joining. Hi. I'm super excited to be here tonight, but as you might notice, if you're a regular on here, that my husband is not joining me. So it's a little sad, feel a little lonely. So glad you guys are here. Hey, oh, thank you. This is the mom grade when, it's been a long day. You haven't had a lot of time. So thank you. Fern Fabric. Hey, Susie. Hey, much love to my friend Whitney. Hey, my food allergy friends. Hey, CM Karen. Awesome. I'm not sure if you sent that on purpose, Fern Fabric, but I won't be having any contributors now. So sorry about that. Okay, thanks guys. Hey, Karen. So thank you for joining me. This is my weekly live for food allergies. Thank you, man. People on YouTube and Instagram for fun and try to pretend I'm them. So look it up. It's really, really easy. I do it. Anyone can do it. Okay. Hey, Alpha Fox. Hello. Thanks for joining, guys. So if you're new here, every week we do a live. We call it our Food Allergy Life Live because there are so many facets to having kids or yourself having food allergies that affects more than just what you eat. And so we wanted to build a community. I'm sorry, I'm trying to look at all three. If it seems like I'm jumping around. But we wanted to build a community where we could talk and we could be like, yeah, I see you, I get it. Or we could share experiences of what happened throughout the week. We can share tips. And I've learned so much from you guys. And then it's nice to see the comments afterwards because Facebook keeps these, so does YouTube. So please share your wisdom, share your knowledge because this is so nice to have each other. Hey, Tay3, okay, nice to see you. So good to see names here week after week. It means a lot that you guys are coming back. So Gun Barrel Vitamins, hey, welcome. So usually if you're new, my very handsome hubby sits next to me and it's fun. It's something that we've been able to do together. And I really wanted him to be in on these. I do everything else by myself with the blog. I mean, obviously with his support, but I just feel like he has a very different personality than me, if you haven't picked up on that. And he's a male and he's a father perspective. And I really like always having him to kind of bounce things off of. But awesome. Hi, Kylie. Welcome back. Hey, Ariana. But this week is just bananas. As you guys know, we just moved. I mean, we are still getting the yard together and it's finals week for him. He's still in school because we like to do this super, super long track. Raise your hand if you are with us. Trying to have a family and finish up school is a little bananas. And then it's crazy at his work this week. So he was still going to do it. Bless his heart. But I said, no, just go do what you need to so you're not up till all hours of the night. So you guys get me and me only, but I do have something that's going to be joining me in a second. So bear with me. Hey, Atta girl, nice to see you. So if you guys caught the topic, I was a little late doing the teaser for it, but we are going to talk, sorry, I keep saying we, me. I'm going to talk about emergency preparedness because in moving, we've been going through a lot of our stuff. Hey, Molly. And just cleaning things out and realizing like what we wanted to keep, what was our existing food storage and emergency preparedness stuff and things that we want to be better on. Because if you didn't know, we moved from a really small apartment to we're renting a home now. So we have a lot more space. So I don't want to just fill it with junk. I want to fill it with things that are going to help our family long term. Hey, Kendricks, nice to see you. So raise your hand or give me hearts, some kind of way to let me know if you guys already have some type of emergency preparedness. Sometimes I feel like it's kind of a Utah thing, so I don't know when I say phrases like that, if it's something you're familiar with, or if you're like, oh yeah, I got that down, or if you're like, no, I'm not too familiar with that, or what does that even mean? So it'd be nice, a little heart, so you know what I mean. It would be nice to know kind of where you guys are at, because I don't want to like be covering too much of one thing, but I definitely think it's super important. Thumbs up, thank you. Okay, so we'll just start at the basics. Hey, Elizabeth. Oh, I will do a kitchen tour. She asked that I would show the kitchen, and I haven't done that yet. It is clean tonight. Maybe I'll do it after. Hey, Kimberly. So emergency preparedness, the way I define that is that you, in the case of an emergency, have stuff that you can be self-reliant and self-sufficient. So Ariana says, ours is tiny, but I'm buckling down and getting it together. Good for you. And you know what? Ours is teeny too, especially being in a small apartment. So I'll kind of tell you what we did and the way we're going to scale it now that we have a little bit more space. So, hey, Kimberly. So I have got this. I had to actually have my husband get it out of the garage. We have a garage now. And it's kind of heavy. So this is what's going to be joining me instead of my husband. Time out, squirrel. We always do our tidbit, and I forgot. Whitney, you should have reminded me. Hey, Nancy, good to see you. I haven't seen you in forever. So we always start off with a tidbit, but since I don't have my husband here tonight, I kind of forgot. So I'll do my tidbit about my husband since he's not here to correct me, and I can tell the story how I want. But we met my freshman year of college at BYU, and we were actually dance partners, and I thought he was a total jerk because he wouldn't say like 2 words to me except for like, how did that 8 count go? And I was like, wow, he is so stuck up. But I didn't realize he's just really shy and really keeps to himself. And think of like a Mr. Darcy, right? And so what did I do naturally? I went out with his friend who ended up being our best man. Funny story. And yeah, so I'm in my freshman year, didn't start really hanging out, became friends sophomore year, and got married my senior year. So knew him for a good couple of years. Hey, Lacey K. So that's kind of a fun little tidbit about us. So if you met your spouse in college too, yay for you. That's a fun time to meet people. So let's start now with the emergency preparedness. So the reason why I feel like this is important for anyone, especially parents who have like special need children or food allergic children or celiac, anything that's more restrictive, is that heaven forbid, if a national emergency happened where you lived, would you be able to rely on, I mean, I don't think it's good to just be like, oh, someone's going to come in and save us, right? The Red Cross or FEMA or whatever. But let's say you had to, oh my gosh, I don't even know what we could eat off their truck. Like, we could take their water, but like a lot of the staples that they give out are like bread. Nope, can't do that. Peanut butter. Nope, can't do that. So there's just a lot of staples that I feel like we would really be at the creek for. And I just don't want that feeling. I mean, it's already going to be scary enough. Heaven forbid we have to go through that to then feel like, okay, what do we do now? What am I going to feed my child? Right. And I just feel like, I don't know if you guys feel like this, but I feel like it's like every other month, there's like this huge national disaster. It's like hurricanes in the South and in the coastal areas, or it's fires in California, or it's earthquakes, or it's, up in New York, like Hurricane Sandy, or tornadoes in the Midwest. In Utah, we live on a huge fault line that they say there's going to be a ginormous earthquake someday. So I just feel like more and more, there's just not a real, like, I don't think there's anywhere you could live where you're like, oh, for sure, nothing would ever happen. And even if it's not a national disaster, it could be that like your own house just burns down, or, I don't know. It is so scary to even have to think about it. I agree, Kylie, and I hate to like dwell on it, but so we're going to be trying to be positive, and that's why this will probably be the only one we do on this, but I do think it's worth mentioning. But I know that I would rather have the food and stuff put away and have it go to waste than not have it and wish that we had it. Hi, Julie. Good to see you. So anyways, Julie, you should chime in, because my friend Julie is like, I don't even know the word. She's a diva when it comes to anything household. So chime in. She knows more than I do. She actually taught me how to can peaches. So she's very self-reliant. I am just a beginner. And that's kind of why I hesitated even doing this, because I was just like, I'm not this pro that, like, I don't know. I used to watch like emergency preparedness tips on YouTube and things like that. And I would feel so overwhelmed because I was like, I don't have freaking anything. It is your jam, Julie. But then I thought maybe a lot of people feel like me, where it's like, okay, I've started, I want to scale, and I can share at least the little things that we've done in case you were in my boat and you haven't started. Because I didn't start for a really long time because I always had excuses like we're newly married or we're just getting started and we don't have money or we don't have space. And there are little things that we can do that I think are really, really helpful. So Danielle, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Oh, this is so good. I've never thought of this before in the 10 years we've had an allergy kid and now 4 with allergies, right? Yes. Yes. So let's start with what I did when we were just in my small apartment. I always stocked up on rice and on beans. And I don't know if any of you have ever been on WIC, but we certainly were being in school and having a family and starting out. I know different people have different viewpoints on WIC, and that's okay. That's okay, to each their own. I don't love being on it, but they do give like dried rice, dried beans. And I know a lot of people would be like, oh, I don't want to get that because I won't use it, but I always got it because those things are like gold to me when it comes to food storage because they will last, I don't know what the actual date is, but forever it feels like. And that's something that isn't very perishable and it comes in a nice little bag. So I feel like it's easy to put away. So I just have like a big bin of rice and beans. And I kept that even in our small apartment because I was like, we could live off rice and beans. It wouldn't be like a high quality meal, but we could live off of it. So that was something that I was like, okay, that's something cheap that I can add to my food storage when I go to the store. So we still have a ton of those. It's hard. I need to come up with a better solution for rotating it out because I need to just start tipping over the bin and making sure I'm using stuff from the bottom. But you'll notice I have like my red beans and rice on my website is from like dried beans. And in my cookbook, I'm going to be having some dried bean recipes too to kind of help us use that up if you're like me and you are kind of trying to stock away some of that. So the other thing that I was decent at, even when we had a small place, was having like a 24-hour kit, if you're not familiar with that term, in our car. So I always have like in our back trunk, which stinks because we just got like an SUV, and we actually have a smaller trunk than we did in our Camry car. But I just have like my old backpack from junior high, legit pink backpack. Whitney, do you remember it? And because I was like, I want to go buy a new backpack. And I have like toilet paper in case you're stranded on the side of the road. I'm sorry, I should have grabbed it. I have like paper towels, I have wet wipes, I have diapers. I have a blanket in case it's really cold. My son can do fish. I know that's a top 8, but that's also really cheap and easy to keep. Utensils to eat with. I have, what are those called? Like those little metal pie tins. Those would be easy to wash out instead of like plates that could break or paper plates that you can only really use once. So hey Bex, good to see you again. So those are things I try and keep in my car all times. And I'm sorry, bottled water I keep in there. So I'll try and think of more things that are in it right now, but diapers just for this stage in our life. So if like we had to hit the town or I got stranded in the car somewhere with my kids, I have an empty gas can. So if I ever needed to walk and get gas, I have matches, things like that, then we could be okay. At least so maybe we could get somewhere. And if this sounds like overwhelming to you, my mom and dad gave us that for Christmas one year, like the backpack with all this stuff. And then they were like, obviously you just need to swap things out and add things as things come and go or things get old or whatever. So thank you, Ariana. Yeah, because I just want to feel like if I had to, or if I was ever stranded, because we live in Utah where it can be really snowy and bad roads. So I would just hate to like slide off the road somewhere and then feel like we don't have a blanket or we don't have some food to get by. I mean, I think most moms have fruit snacks in their, car most of the time, but just something a little more that would help us get through things. So then after I felt good about that, then I was like, okay, I'm just going to get a little bucket and I'm going to start to fill it. And this was like an old filing thing. And as you'll see, I've outgrown it. I need to get a bigger one. Oh boy. Because I figured I wanted something that, see, it won't shut anymore. I wanted to get something that I could like literally grab, throw it in my car along with my emergency kit and hit the road if we had to, right? So that was kind of my thinking in keeping it somewhat small and usable. And then I keep right in the front, and it's clear, like a table of contents of what's in it. I actually need to update this because it's nice when you're buying things to add to it. If you're like, oh, did I already have batteries? Oh yeah, I do have batteries. Things like that. And then if you're like, oh, but it's so expensive, I 100% agree. And I get down that path too, and I get nervous. Hey, Maine. Hey, two peed in a. Okay, I'm gonna start that. You know who I'm talking about. Hi, good to see you. What is that? You want to make me a kit for my birthday this year? Oh, I don't know. That's my sister asking me. I can probably get my own kit together. We'll talk later. So, anyways, if you see my budgeting video on like how to stay on a budget with food allergies, I talk about how much I allot every week, right? And so the weeks that I don't use it all, I try and use that money because I've already like planned on spending it, right? On emergency preparedness stuff. So if that's like often going to the dollar store, I like wander around the dollar store and see what they've got. The dollar store has a lot of good stuff, or it's like saving up to buy something off of Amazon, which I'll show you things that we've invested in. It was like $20. So this might not be possible for all of you guys, but I do sometimes get sent free product placement. You're welcome. Samples from companies. So if they're like really boxable, non-perishable stuff, like I've got vegetable soup, miso soup that we can do. I try to throw those in like sample bottles. You know, sometimes you get sample bottles from grocery stores or Costco or whatever. Save them. Now I've got olive oil to cook with. These dairy-free powdered mashed potatoes be really easy to make with water. I mean, you want to think like really simple meals, right? Like obviously you'd love to have gourmet delicious meals, but hopefully this would just be short term. Okay, so Jamie asks or says, I have EOE and 3 kids with FPIEs and 1 with life-threatening food allergies, and I have 2 with autism. We spend for a family of 7, $1,600 a month. So they say that the national average is like $25 per person per week. So for my family of 5, I try and spend 125. Now that's easy to say because my 5th is a baby and she doesn't eat that much, but I do still count like her diapers and her milk that I buy. But I do watch that video and then get back to me if you feel like you still need things, because I feel like I can still do that even buying like rice milk and specialty bread, and there's ways to kind of get around it. So, but that said, cheap. I try and shop at the cheap stores like Walmart. Not everyone likes to do that. So let me know. Watch it and let me know. I'd be interested to see what we could come up with to help you spend a little less, because it's frustrating. It's like you're buying all your paycheck is going to food that you're just eating. Hey, Rila eats. Okay, so this is something I got from the dollar store, Pedialyte. If you have kids, like always getting sick, worrying about being hydrated, I try and think like, okay, we could probably survive, but what if someone's sick when like the power's out or there's a bad storm? I mean, hello, East Coast, we have family, my husband's from Boston, and they have days where they're snowed in, right? I have a best friend in Jersey, so you don't want to be like, oh my gosh, we had the stomach flu and now we're snowed in, and like I don't have Gatorade or I don't have Pedialyte. So those are things I like to keep on hand. And when people are sick, even when the weather's fine, like it sometimes sucks to leave the house. So oh, it is hard, Jamie, when you all have different food allergies. Yes, I'm so glad. My son has 30, and then my other son is peanuts, tree nuts, and they overlap those. So I'm glad for like at least the overlapping. I get that. Okay, then I keep some, again, I got this free from a company, the salt. You never have enough salt. I got some seasoning packets one time from a conference. So heaven forbid, when we're eating all those pounds and pounds of rice and beans, we'll have some seasonings. I like to do medical tape. Again, like most of these things you can get from the dollar store. We like to have several flashlights for if the power goes out. Hey, Julie. Hey, friend. Hey, Rebecca. Hey, friend. Thanks for joining. We also have like a Windup flashlight, which is kind of cool. So if you don't have batteries or whatever, my kids love to play with that. Okay. This is an Amazon purchase, and none of this is sponsored. This is just all stuff I found on my own. So we live in Utah, where there's like tons of lakes and streams and whatnot. And like when we were in an apartment, I was like, I can't keep thousands of bottles of water, right? Because not only, if you think about it, not only would you need water to drink, but wash your dishes, flush your toilet. I just try and envision like outdoor camping and like what it would need to go camping if you guys are big campers, and then I try and build from there. So heaven forbid if like there's a long power outage or something, we could survive. So back to Utah, we have a lot of like rivers and lakes and streams, and I was just like, man, how cool would it be if we can just like use those to drink from instead of having tons of bottled water on hand. And then I found this super cool, hi Jonna, this super cool product called Life Straw. And they have different versions of it, but this is, oh, Ariana, you have those too. It basically says you can drink, I don't know, they have the creepiest looking pictures on their page of people drinking water that looks like you should not be drinking it, but it supposedly filters out all of the nasties. So you could literally like hang this around your neck, go stick it in, and drink out of it. Heaven forbid. I hope I never have to use this. So we got a couple of those. Things like scissors. I mean, some of this is like general, right? Like not all this is food allergy specific. I have a good friend that lives in Florida, so she's had to do the legit, like board your windows up, leave your house, pray you come back to a house type of deal. So that's who gave me the idea of like grab something portable. She said, try and have like a grab and go Tupperware, or is that what it's called? Rubbermaid Tupperware that you can grab and have all your important documents, everything, so you can go. And also have like all of your important documents scanned and like emailed to yourself or on a drive, right? So if heaven forbid you lose all those documents, you have that. I know, it's stressful, Ariane, about all the water you have to have. And with that, so pretend I have this on my table. Pretend this is like an empty juice jar. I never throw these away. I just I fill them up with water, and now that we have like a storage room, I keep them. Whether it's for drinking or washing or toilet flushing or whatnot. So anyways, my friend is the one that gave me this great idea. This is something I have not done and I keep meaning to do, so hold me accountable. Hey, gluten-free territory, is she mentioned that cash is king. So like if the power's out, ATMs and stuff are not going to work out, or ATMs get totally drained. So I want to always have some cash, whether it's in my car or with my kit. So if we needed to buy essentials, that we could do that. Hey Dad, thanks for joining. This is another thing she mentioned is sometimes having flashlights can be annoying because you always have to have like one hand. So these are, I don't have it together, but I bought some of those like headlamps so that like you can see where you're going, right? Because I don't know about you guys, but in Utah it can get dark really early, especially in the winter. Toilet paper, a must. No more need to say about that. And then I also had someone recommend this solar charger, USB charger, so we could charge our phones, charge anything that's USB plug-in, so that if there was a way to call out or just, use your phone for everything, for alarm, for all sorts of stuff. So we got one of these. Keep dishwashing soap. Again, like dollar store, guys, like there's so much you can get. So just challenge yourself to like go through be like, I'm going to spend $10 this week and go get yourself 10 things. Yeah, Julie, headlamps are the best. Okay. So I feel like I'm taking forever on this. Band-Aids, So let me get to more allergy specific stuff. I try and keep Benadryl, have a brand new thing, a full stock of Benadryl and Zyrtec that is in there somewhere. And I never throw away old EpiPens. I don't know who came up with the thing among allergy mothers to practice on an orange. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's like $100 orange. And, sure, if you want to really practice and see what it feels like, go for it. But to me, I'm not letting these suckers go. Like, you know what I mean? Because, and do your own research. Okay, I'm not quoting the study. You go make up your own mind. But I read something that it only degrades by like a few percent every year. So would this be 100% effective? Probably not. if in an emergency my child was to have anaphylaxis, I would much rather try an EpiPen that was only 90% effective than have already gone through the 2 current ones that I have on hand and wish that I had some old ones. So I always keep my EpiPens in my emergency kit. Alcohol wipes. If you can't do soy, I'm sorry, these won't work for you, but we love these little Thai kitchen noodles. Sorry, it's loud. But these are like ramen noodles, but for gluten-free. Yes, yeah, Julie, you keep them too. Good for you. These are just add water. They're not super filling, but they're delicious, and they would be something to eat because you want like something easy. Just warm up water and go. So I have quite a bit of these in there. I have some butter. Some people prefer this soy nut butter, but that's super good protein. Yeah, you keep yours too. Yeah, it's too much money. EpiPens are way too much money. I think the company came up with that, so you can use it up your old ones. Yeah, Amanda, you keep yours too. Tylenol, like I said, we can do fish, so I have quite a few cans in there of tuna because that's really good protein. It doesn't require any kind of cooking. If you can't do tuna, they have canned chicken, so that could work as well. I have Tylenol. Like I said, I try to keep medications. I have alcohol. I have rice and beans. Oh, these dollar store candles. Children's Tylenol, children's ibuprofen with the measuring cup so I can measure appropriately. What else? Oh, a lighter, matches, Band-Aids. I think I'm getting, bleach wipes to clean with, some butter. I think I already said that. Yes, some butter for protein. So that's getting towards the end of my bucket. But as you can see, like, that's not a ton of money. It's all in one grabbable thing. And I pulled out like various food items, various medical items. One thing I do want to add is like probably an inhaler for my son who has asthma. How do you remember to rotate the medicine so it doesn't get wasted? So my goal is to do it like every New Year's Day. And just do it once a year. And maybe some things would expire before then, but I feel like it's a reminder because for me, it's like a new year, a new goal, clean things out, and it'll be my chance to go through, see what I've got, see if anything is expired, and go from there. So I think if you pick like one day, because I know some people say rotate it monthly or do, and I'm like, well, that's too much for me. So if you're a beginner like me, that's what I like to do. And then, like I said, I'm starting to do, now that we have space, like lots of water on hand with all the empty juice containers. Because if you're like me, hi, my little sunshine, and you have kids, we go through juice like crazy. So we have all these free plastic bottles. Like, don't let them go to waste. What else was there? Several EpiPens. Anyways, I know there's more expensive things you can buy. Like someday I'd like to invest in some of those really cool freeze-dried meals if I can find any that are gluten-free, dairy-free. But cereal is another one that I have a lot of in my basement because cereal is super cheap and I feel like it lasts for a while. It's not super filling, but we do like Rice Chex and Rice Krispies. And those are things we rotate through pretty regularly because we make a lot of Rice Krispie treats, which I have a top 8 free recipe on my site if you need it. So that's another thing we try and keep on hand. What's another thing we try and keep on hand? Gluten-free noodles are something that are really good shelf stable. If you're into canning, I don't love it. I've done it, but it's great to like can different fruit and stuff just so you can have options. Another thing that we are planning on investing in this year is a, what are those called? A deep freezer, a chest freezer, because we've always just had the one. But now that we have space, I'm like, oh, we should get that because that would help us stock up. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I haven't missed any of the comments or questions. This is why I need my husband because he helps me read all the comments. So anyways, last thing. Let's end on this unless you guys have any more questions or comments. So I have not done this yet, but I got this tip, so I want to pass it on so that way we can all do it together. And my friend Kristen, what is her handle? I think it's My Prioritized Style. She is an incredible food allergy advocate and like special needs mom advocate. If you guys don't follow her, you should. I'm just going to give a little shout out to her. She's very good at being planned and prepared. I've learned a lot from her. Hey, Clean Monday Mills, good to see you. So one thing that I thought was genius that she does. Oh, Amanda asked, how many days of food do you like to have set aside? That is a tough question because I don't feel like here's one day's worth, here's one day's worth, or here's how much we would eat. So I don't know how many days worth I have. I'm sure with just the ridiculous amount of rice and beans we have, we could last for at least a week to 10 days. But I mean, it would be a very boring 10 days and it's not like organized out. I'm sure some people have it organized better where they can calculate that, but I don't even know how to calculate that because I feel like my kids are constantly growing. So they're constantly eating more. But I mean, I think you should have at least like 36 to 48 hours of food, bare minimum, just in case. And heaven forbid, you don't need it all, but you can help your neighbors, you can help your friends. I mean, you just never know. And with that, I mean, we just moved to a new neighborhood, but I just feel like it's so important to make friends and get to know your community because, if worst comes to worst, like it's going to be neighbors helping each other if we can't go out for help. So, making sure people know about your kids, about their food allergies. When you introduce yourselves, we've been doing that a lot lately. People have been wanting to bring us over food to say hello and I'm sorry our kids can't eat that. I'll say, I can, and that looks delicious. I'll eat it, but just so you know, my kids can't. Thank you very much. Things like that, just so people are aware. People know what's going on with you guys. And so if they ever saw your kid having a problem, they could come get you. So back to this new idea that Kristen had. Thank you for that question, Amanda. Really good question. I mean, they say, I don't know. I feel like back to your question, I don't feel like I feel like I hear different things. So if you guys have heard different things, some people say at least have 24 hours, at least have 36 hours, at least have a week, at least have a month, have up to a year. And I don't know, there's ever an end in sight. I've heard all sorts of stuff. So your guess is as good as mine as far as what you feel comfortable with and what you feel like you could rotate through. So there you go. And yeah, Ariana says 72 hours is usually a good window for a crisis response. But again, I feel like, is that just till help comes? Because is help that's coming, are they going to have gluten-free options? Are they going to have dairy-free options? Are they going to have things like that? So I think, with us that have more restricted diets, it wouldn't hurt to have more than that for sure. Like I said, our goal is at least like a week to 10 days. So my last bit of advice from my friend Kristen was, with all the banana stuff going on with public schools and how many lockdowns schools are having to do, even if there's like not an active shooter or an emergency, but sometimes they will be on lockdown past typical hours, is she has an emergency backpack for each of her kids that she packs and hands to the school to just keep there all time. So it's not a backpack that he's bringing to and from, right? It's a backpack that stays there. And then at the end of the year, she picks it up and can clean it out, rotate it. And it has like safe granola bars for him because they're top 8 free. So they have like Enjoy Life granola bars. It has like dried fruit. I can't remember all the stuff she put in it, but things like that would not be perishable. I think maybe a bottle of water, Gatorade. Anyways, because if your child is starving and all they have is like the school cafeteria, my child will never be able to eat out of the school cafeteria. I mean, he's going to be a sack lunch kid till 18. Heaven help me. It's going to be a lot of packed lunches we're about to do. But I just thought that was really smart because you'd hate for them to be terrified and scared and then be starving on top of that. So I just thought, man, that's a really good idea to make sure that if an emergency and your children, because you always think we'll be home when it happens, right? That's why like you stockpile your house a little bit, but they might. That's why I have one in my car, and I think one at school is not a terrible idea either if you are just really into being prepared and being active for those type of things. So hi. Oh, I'm so sorry. There's lots of people joining right now. Hi, Monica. Hi, Life as a Nelson. Hi, Hardy Marty Nutrition. We usually try and keep these around a half an hour. So I think we're going to sign off for now. So go back, rewatch. We talked about a lot of good tips as far as what to have an emergency kit. Someone like me that's, has been starting for a little bit, but isn't like super pro at it, but we can all, I think, be better. And I think we can all have things to improve. And I hope that we've all learned something and that you have a takeaway of like, man, I could at least go to the dollar store and get a few things, or I can at least go buy some more rice and beans, or I can start filling up some bottles with water, or I can, save my EpiPens, or I can get an extra prescription of an inhaler and put it away, or I can make sure to have children's Benadryl or children's Zyrtec on hand. Because if your kids have seasonal allergies like mine, like they're gonna be miserable. Like they're gonna want something, because pharmacies and things like that are gonna be really hard to find. So, oh, thank you, Ariana. You had some good comments. So thank you, everyone. If you don't have any other questions, we will end for tonight. And speaking of kind of emergency preparedness, my phone's saying it's gonna die. Good timing. My last post on my blog was about 504 plans, which is all about how your school will take care of your child to avoid emergencies and what to do if there is an emergency. So go to my blog if you haven't read that. Pass it on to anyone who's new to 504 plans. I know they were stressful to me. When I did my first 504, we've had a few under our belt now, constantly learning, but I literally put my 504 plan. We also, last week's live was on the 504 plan, so if you'd rather just watch and hear, but I did get that request to write it all down. I literally put our plan, so it can be a starting base, a starting line for you, and then you can tweak as needed depending on the severities or of your allergies, or if you have other things going on. So I hope that this has been helpful, you guys. That's always my goal, is to either give you delicious recipes that will work out for your allergy family, that we can share and be a community for one another, and that we can learn together. So I so appreciate your time. I'm so glad we could spend the evening together, and come back next Monday at 9 and tell anyone that this would be helpful too, and share it afterwards. It's always live on my Facebook and YouTube page. Thanks, guys. Have a good night. See ya. If I can end them all. This is going to be awkward as I sit here and push all the end buttons. Bye, guys. Adios.